Number one, making dua after the prayer. Second, raising his hands during this dua. We need to sort out the issue of making dua after the prayer. Is it sunnah? Is it bid'ah? Is it permissible? Making dua throughout the time is recommended, and it is ordered by the Quran and by the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "Ud'uni astajib lakum." In the sunnah, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man lam yas'alillah yaghdab alayh." If you don't ask from Allah, Allah will get angry. And furthermore, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ad-du'a huwa al-ibadah." The core of worship is to make dua. There are some specific times which are more important than other times, and it is recommended to make dua during these recommended times more than other times, such as if we're talking about the prayer during sujood, and after the tashahhud and before making taslim. Now, what about after the salah? Here's where the confusion comes from. Some people believe that making dua after the prayer is a tradition, and it is an inseparable part from the prayer. Making dua after the prayer is permissible. It has been reported in the hadith that the Prophet ﷺ once said to Mu'adh ibn Jabal, and this hadith is a very lovely hadith. Fantastic. The Prophet ﷺ once said to Mu'adh ibn Jabal, "Ya Mu'adh, I love you." Imagine the Prophet ﷺ tells somebody, "I love you." And if the Prophet ﷺ loves you, khalas, you're saved. Inshallah, you're going to be with him in Jannah. We're not talking about you loving the Prophet. This is a duty everybody, every Muslim must do. But the Prophet ﷺ said to Mu'adh, "I love you. So since I love you, I'm going to give you a gift. فَلَا تَدَعَنَّ دُبُرَ كُلِّ صَلَاةٍ أَن تَقُولُ." Do not forget to say after every prayer, "Allahumma a'inni ala dhikrika wa shukrika wa husni ibadatik." After every prayer, you should not forget to make this dua. "Oh Allah, help me out to remember you, to thank you, and to worship you in the best way, in the best fashion." This is a dua, right? So you can make this dua, and you can make other duas. You can pray for yourself and for your family members. So yes, you can make dua. It is legitimate and permissible to make dua after the prayer. And as far as raising the hands during the prayer, it's also the sunnah. The Prophet ﷺ raised his hands like that, and sometimes all the way so that his underarms and the whiteness of his underarm was clear to those who were standing, except in certain times, such as if he was on the minbar or the musallin are attending the Jumu'ah. So in these times, it was not reported that the Prophet ﷺ used to raise his hands. Rather, he would point with the index finger. And the musallin would say Ameen but would not raise the hands. So you can make dua after the prayer, but it is not a tradition. You can make it sometimes, you skip it sometimes, you can make dua, you can just finish the salah and make the khitam and leave. But the time which is mentioned specifically that you should make dua during is before taslim. Before taslim. It has been reported that the Prophet ﷺ would not finish the salah before he would make this dua. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min fitnati al-mahya wal-mamat. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min adhabin fi an-nar. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min adhabin fi al-qabr. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min fitnati al-masih al-dajjal. So now the Prophet ﷺ used to seek refuge with Allah against the trials of life and death, the trial of the false Messiah, and we seek refuge with Allah and protection against the torment of the grave and the torment of the far field. 4 things that the Prophet ﷺ used to يَتَعَوَّذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنْهُنْ, would seek refuge with Allah against them after every fard prayer and before making taslim.